Hi, ArcfieldWeather.com meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Wednesday morning, March 2nd. We had a weak cold frontal system pass through the mid-Atlantic region in the overnight hours. It is very weak and will have little to no impact on temperatures in the northeastern part of the nation today here at midweek. But a stronger cold front arrives by early tomorrow. That indeed has a pretty good punch of air behind it, punch of cold air behind it. It turns colder on Thursday and quite cold tomorrow night. In fact, some of the suburban locations across the I-95 corridor region, let's say from D.C. to Philadelphia to New York City, certainly can drop into the teens later on tomorrow night, going into the early morning hours on Friday. Indeed, quite a cold shot coming. Remains cold on Friday, then it becomes much milder throughout much of the northeastern part of the nation by the latter part of the upcoming weekend. And that warm up during the second half of the weekend looks like it could be accompanied by some rain. I wanted to first start off with the 0Z run of the GFS operational model to show the 850 millibar temperature anomalies going forward. And there certainly are some more cold air outbreaks destined to reach the central and eastern U.S. going forward over the next couple of weeks. And we'll just kind of talk about that over the next couple of minutes. Whether it results in snowfall in the immediate I-95 corridor region or closer to the coast still remains to be seen. Most certainly there should be more snowfall in the interior sections of the mid-Atlantic and northeast U.S. over the next couple of weeks. Starting off kind of a neutral condition here in the mid-Atlantic region, colder air poised up to the north and west, warmer air to the south and west. And now let's move forward here. Again, we have another cold frontal system that slides through in the overnight hours, early morning hours really, going into the early morning on Thursday. This is the Thursday midday forecast map at 850 millibar temperature anomalies, and it is in fact quite a cold air outbreak into the northeastern part of the nation. Again, in the overnight hours tomorrow night going into early Friday morning, don't be surprised if some suburban areas, north and west of Philly, for example, are in the mid to upper teens as we begin the last work day of the week on Friday. And it remains cold on Friday, but then warmer air first sets up over the central U.S. and then pushes towards the north and east. It really becomes felt Sunday and Monday. Very, very mild days, places like D.C., Philadelphia, New York City on Sunday and Monday. This is the Saturday afternoon forecast map. And again, by the time we get to this stage, Sunday midday, very mild conditions. We're talking 60s, potentially the 70s on Sunday, and definitely the 70s look likely in some parts of the I-95 corridor by the time we get to Monday. Unfortunately, that warm-up looks like could very well be accompanied by some rain shower activity Saturday night, Sunday, maybe into the day on Monday. Now, let's just move forward. And again, I wanted to point out that while it stays warm right into the early part of next week, there certainly are some cold air outbreaks destined to reach the eastern U.S. During, let's say, the next few weeks here as we go through the month of March. Here we go by about the middle of next week, and look at what's going on here. By the time we get to the middle of next week, upstream, there's a very, very cold air mass. A week from Thursday, this happens to be the March 10th forecast map, and this first moves into the central plains and then eventually works its way all the way to the eastern seaboard for the middle part of the month of May and month of March. And here we go by the time we get to March 14th, the middle of the month. Almost 2 weeks away from now, very cold air into the northeastern part of the nation, and more cold air masses upstream over southwestern Canada. Now, in terms of snowfall, one thing to remember, and of course, as we get through the month of March, the average highs go up and up and up. So you have to get 15 to 20 degrees below normal air in places like D.C., Philadelphia, New York City, during the month of March to get even a chance for some snow. Of course, it has happened before, and the first thing you have to get if you're interested in more snow is some cold air outbreaks. And indeed, it looks like there will be some more cold air outbreaks over the next few weeks. Well, in the short term, we do have a wave of energy in the upper part of the atmosphere that's kind of associated with this cold frontal system headed our way. Again, that cold front, the next cold front, looks like it passes through the I-95 corridor region by early Thursday. Paves the way for some colder air, especially later in the day on Thursday and tomorrow night. Again, watch out for some teens in some suburban locations. And here we go. Here is that upper level feature right here associated with that next cold air outbreak. Really hits New England with this next cold air outbreak later tomorrow night, going into the day on Friday. And then that passes on through. Friday is cold and dry, and then it starts to get milder over the upcoming weekend. First, the real warm-up begins out across the Central Plains. Notice this flow of air out of the southwest cutting across the Central Plains by the early part of the upcoming weekend. Turns milder on Saturday, and then especially noticeable by Sunday here in the northeastern part of the nation. Again, look at this upper air wind flow out of the southwest to the northeast, and Sunday and Monday look like very mild days in D.C., Philadelphia, and New York City. Again, don't be surprised if D.C. on Monday hits the middle 70s. Now, with this energy here in the upper part of the atmosphere, this warm-up later in the weekend certainly can be accompanied by some rain shower activity Saturday night, Sunday, going into the day on Monday. Well, let's wrap up with the surface forecast maps from the 0Z operational GFS model run. This next frontal system has a clipper system associated with it. It will certainly produce some snowfall interior sections of the northeastern part of the nation late tonight, early tomorrow, maybe even a little bit of accumulating snow in some of those areas. We're talking upstate Pennsylvania, upstate New York. Maybe a rain or snow shower makes it all the way into the I-95 corridor region, let's say between about 3 a.m. and 9 a.m. on Thursday. And here we go. That front moves on through, and we have a very cold air mass coming in to the mid-Atlantic, to the northeast U.S. later tomorrow night. Teens may begin the day on Friday. It stays cold but dry on Friday, and then as that high pressure system shifts off the eastern seaboard right here, we start to get this flow of air on its backside out of the southwest to the northeast, first across the Central Plains by early Saturday, and then that translates into the eastern states by the second half of the upcoming weekend. And unfortunately, that warm-up could be accompanied by some shower activity in much of the northeast by the time we get to Sunday, and some of those showers could last into the day on Monday. Here's a Monday afternoon, Monday early evening forecast map. Don't be surprised, again, if D.C. hits 75 degrees on Monday ahead of the next frontal system, and the 70s could penetrate as far north and east as Philadelphia and New York City by the early part of next week. But first, we have a cold shot coming for Thursday night, and Friday. Again, temperatures could drop all the way down in the mid and upper teens in some suburban locations along the D.C., Philadelphia, New York City corridor by early Friday morning. That's it for now. For ArcfieldWeather.com, I'm meteorologist Paul Dorian.